Aku was evil. We all know that. He burned villages. He crushed rebellions. He laughed about it in that glorious deep voice. I'm not here to deny any of it. But what if I told you the hero of this story wasn't exactly a hero either? Picture it from the other side for a second. You rule a world. You built it over thousands of years. Cities, trade routes, entire civilizations exist under your reign. And one day a stranger arrives with a magic sword, and his only goal is to erase all of it. Every city, every citizen, every life. Gone. Like none of it ever happened. Now tell me honestly, who's defending their home in that story? And who's the invader? Hold that thought, because by the end of this video, one wedding scene is going to flip everything you believe about this show upside down. Real quick before we start, if you love these deep dives into the villains everybody got wrong, don't forget to subscribe, because with how these things get recommended, we might never cross paths again. And if you just joined the family, welcome. Alright, let's get started. First, you need to understand what Aku actually is, because he didn't choose evil. He fell into existence. Here's a piece of lore casual fans miss completely. Aku wasn't born the way villains usually are. Ages ago, a formless mass of pure darkness drifted through space, so dangerous that the gods themselves had to destroy it. But one fragment escaped, crashed into Earth, and grew. Jack's father, the Emperor, tried to destroy it, and from that struggle, the fragment gained consciousness. That's AKU. He didn't wake up one morning and pick villainy. He is a force of nature that became self-aware. Judging Aku for being Aku is a bit like judging a volcano for erupting. And honestly, for a primordial evil, the guy is weirdly charming. This is a demon who answers phone calls in his lair, who once dressed up as a woman to trick Jack, who literally gave himself a therapy session because the samurai was stressing him out. And can we pause on that therapy scene for a second? Because under the comedy, it's kind of sad. The most powerful being in existence, sitting alone in a giant empty tower, so starved for someone to talk to that he splits himself in two just to have a conversation. All that power, and not a single soul to share it with. Tell me another cosmic overlord with that personality. I'll wait. Now the big one. The argument that changes everything. Jack's entire mission. What is Jack actually trying to do? Go back in time and destroy Aku before the future ever happens. Sounds heroic, right? Okay, but slow down and think about what that actually means. By the time Jack arrives in the future, thousands of years have passed. Entire generations have been born, lived, loved, and built lives in Aku's world. Aliens who migrated to Earth. Robots with jobs and feelings. Talking dogs who became, and I'm not joking, actual archaeologists running excavation companies. The Scotsman and his entire family. Trillions of beings whose whole existence happens inside Aku's timeline. And Jack's plan erases every single one of them. Not defeats them, erases them, like they never existed. All so he can save one kingdom, one family, his own past. And look, I get it. His home was taken. His pain is real. But run the math. One feudal kingdom on one side, trillions of lives on the other. From where Aku is standing, he's not fighting a hero. He's stopping a man who wants to delete his entire civilization from history. Quick pause, because I genuinely need to know. If you were AKU, and someone showed up whose victory meant every citizen in your world would blink out of existence, what would you do? Would you just let it happen? Drop your answer in the comments, because I keep going back and forth on this one. And while you're down there, tell me who I should defend next. Okay, back to it, because Aku's case gets even stronger. And here's a pattern the show never wants you to connect. Every time Aku tries the simple route, the story turns it into a trap. Think about how many times Aku actually offered Jack a way out that didn't involve dying. He offered him deals. He offered him his sword back in exchange for leaving. In one story, he even created a fake happy ending, a whole illusion where Jack could just live peacefully, and all Jack had to do was let the future be. We call these villain tricks. But flip the framing. A being who genuinely wanted Jack dead had 1,000 chances to simply crush him. Instead, over and over, Aku kept offering versions of the same thing. Stop trying to erase my world, and you can walk away. And here's a detail that reframes even that famous opening scene. That magic sword is forged from pure righteousness. The one thing in all creation Aku physically cannot destroy, cannot even touch. So when people mock him for tossing Jack into the future instead of finishing him, understand what that moment really was. It wasn't arrogance. It was the only move he had against the single weapon in the universe built to end him. Honestly, throwing your unsolvable problem into tomorrow? That's not villain logic. That's just Monday. Every single time, Jack refused, because his code demanded the timeline be undone, no matter who lived in it. So who's really the unreasonable one here? The ruler offering coexistence? Or the warrior who won't accept any outcome where the current world gets to keep existing? When you line it up like that, Aku starts looking less like a monster and more like a guy negotiating with someone who wants to delete him. And by season 5, this standoff has been running for 50 years. 50. Jack doesn't even age, a side effect of the time travel, and neither of them can land the finishing blow. Two beings locked in the longest stalemate in cartoon history, and here's my weird little take on it. At some point that stopped being a war and became a relationship. Aku's whole existence started revolving around one samurai. Jack's whole identity is defined by one demon. Take either of them away, and honestly, who is the other one anymore? Let's compare the two worlds, because nobody ever does this, honestly. Jack's homeland, the world he's desperate to restore, was a closed feudal kingdom. Swords, farms, rigid tradition, and a strict class system where your birth decided your entire life. Now look at what Aku built. Say what you want about his methods, and they were brutal, but the man turned Earth into the crossroads of the galaxy. Flying cars, glowing cities, spaceports where creatures from across the universe land, open businesses, and build lives. And here's the part that genuinely fascinates me. Aku's empire is weirdly, almost accidentally, a merit system. He doesn't care about your species, your bloodline, or where you came from. Talking dogs can be scientists. Bounty hunters get paid for results. Are you useful? Then there's a place for you. Meanwhile, in Jack's beloved past, your last name decided your ceiling. One of these worlds is a static village frozen in time, and the other is a thriving galactic civilization. And the show never really wants you to notice that. Now, in fairness, let's talk about the ugly side, because I promised you honesty. AKU is still a tyrant. He destroyed innocent settlements. He ruled through fear, and countless beings suffered under him. None of what I'm saying erases that. But here's the thing about Jack that fandoms don't like admitting. That famous honor code of his? It's not flexibility, it's stubbornness wearing a nice robe. Jack walks through a broken, desperate future, quietly judging everyone who compromises to survive, while he himself refuses to adapt. There's a word for putting your personal code above the reality in front of you. And it's not heroism, it's pride. Alright, this is the part I told you to wait for, the wedding. Because this is where Jack loses the argument forever. Season 5. Jack meets Ashi, and this is where the story turns genuinely tragic, because Ashi isn't just some ally. She was born into an entire cult that worshipped Aku like a god, the Daughters of AKU, 7 girls trained from birth with one purpose, killing the samurai. Think about that for a second. Aku's presence in that world was so massive that people built religions around him, raised children in his name. Ashi breaks free from all of that conditioning, turns against everything she was taught, fights her way to his side, and falls in love with him. And there's one more detail. She is Aku's biological daughter. His essence literally runs through her. Together they reach the past. Jack finally destroys AKU right at the moment of his rise. Victory. The timeline is saved. The wedding day arrives. Ashi walks down the aisle, and halfway to the man she gave up everything for, she starts to fade. Because without AKU, she was never born. She dies in his arms on their wedding day, erased by the very victory she helped him win. And I need you to sit with what that scene actually confirms. Everything Aku's side of the argument warned about, it all came true, in miniature, right there on that altar. Jack's quest erased someone. Not an enemy, the woman he loved, the one person who defied her own creator for him. And if his victory could do that to her, think about everyone else. The Scotsman's daughters. The dog archaeologists. Every friend Jack made across that future, wiped from existence in the same silent instant. The show frames it as bittersweet. I'd call it something heavier. Jack didn't just defeat a villain, he unmade a universe. And the universe sent him a receipt in a wedding dress. The demons spent the whole series being called evil, and in the end, the so-called hero erased more lives in one moment than Aku destroyed in 1,000 years. Chew on that one for a minute. So let's bring this home. I'm not telling you Aku was a good guy. He was a tyrant, a monster, and one of the greatest villains ever animated. But being a monster doesn't automatically make your enemy right. Aku fell into existence without choosing it, built a world that, for all its cruelty, gave trillions of beings a place to live, and spent the series defending that world from a man determined to erase it for personal reasons. Jack fought with honor, sure, But his honor had a body count no one talks about, and the final proof faded away in his own arms on the happiest day of his life. Sometimes the villain of the story is just the one who lost the argument about whose world deserves to exist. So here's my final question, and I really want your honest answer. If saving your family meant erasing trillions of strangers, would you do it? Would you make Jack's choice? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video made you see this masterpiece of a show through new eyes, hit that subscribe button before you go. It truly helps a small channel like ours. Until next time, take care of yourselves. And remember, every villain is the hero of their own story. Sometimes they even have a point. We just have to actually look.